Barbara. It is Thursday, October 29th. Halloween is coming. I suspect this year's Halloween is going to be very different for people than normal. Although I saw the girls' Halloween costumes the other day. Did I tell you I messenger kidded with Isabel the other day? She sent me a game. I do not know how to play any of those little games on Kids Messenger. She sent me a game, and so I could see that she was on. So I just called her. And I can, every time I call her, well, I've only done it twice. But I'm glad to see that my son is vigilant, because every time as she's coming on answering, she says, Nana called me. Because he's questioning her about this, you know. So I don't know if the questioning is you're not allowed to call people on your pad. I don't know if he's worried she's going to like be bothering people all the time, or you're not allowed to take calls on that pad. You know, so I mean, they monitor closely who's connected to her on Kids Messenger. But anyway, so you know, so she's getting on a call with me, but the first thing I hear is, Nana called me. So we talked a while, and of course I talked to Sammy and my son and my daughter-in-law, and in the course of the conversation, I got a house tour of their house, because I haven't been to that house. They moved in January. We were there last in Thanksgiving. And I got to see their Halloween costumes. Sammy's going to be Rapunzel, so she has a long blonde wig and a princess dress. She loves the princess stuff. If I could have found a princess advent, I would have sent it to Sammy. And I can't remember the name of the character that Isabel's going to be, because it's a character I've never heard of. May maybe? Something like that. From a movie I can't remember the name of, or a show that I'd never heard of before. But anyway, she's going to have a blue wig and a glove. The glove is somehow significant. She has some kind of glove and blue hair and a ring. She has a ring that you wear on your finger, probably a very powerful ring, and I forget what the rest of the costume was. But anyway, they're going trick-or-treating with their friend in Florida. Although, I mean, I really am not, I do not subscribe. There has been no evidence. I'm not an anti-science person. I am a very pro-science person. But they have not shown that coronavirus is transmitted by touch. Like touching something that someone with coronavirus touched. Now, it may have happened, and I don't know how. I mean, I do actually have no idea how they would know exactly how somebody got coronavirus. But anyway, the point being, I think it's a very low probability that they're going to get coronavirus from the candy that someone else has touched. I mean, they don't, you know, they should get not very close, hold their bag out really far, you know. And people can come up with clever ways to distance. Was it the Crafty Toad? Somebody I heard had seen someone who had rigged up something like some kind of PVC pipe going down the handrail of their porch, so that the kids were supposed to stand at the bottom of the porch and they'd put the candy through and shoot it down into their bag. I thought that was a very clever idea. And I think if you don't, you know, you don't have breakable candy, say, hold your bag out, let's see if I can get it in, you know, and just toss it. Make it a game. Either way, the kids are going trick-or-treating, and Halloween is on a Saturday. I used to always be happy when Halloween was on a Saturday. We get no kids here. We've never gotten a kid. I used to make Halloween packages up, 2 Halloween packages, and deliver them, or to my next door neighbor's little boys. Now those little boys are grown men now. Funny how that happens when you're in a house for 19 years. So those little boys are grown men now, driving around in their hot rods, and they're very sweet boys. Very, very sweet boys. They seem like very nice young men. One is a volunteer at the fire company. We're not friends or anything, but we talk when we see them. And they're always very nice. And they, one year when we were away in the wintertime, they shoveled the driveway so the house didn't look abandoned and that kind of stuff. Anyway, Halloween. I don't know, is it a big deal other places besides the United States? We make it a really big deal. And I have heard, maybe it was Leslie who was saying it didn't used to be much in Great Britain, but now it's starting to, our United States, I guess it's with the movies and TV and stuff, or that kind of thing starts to bleed around the world. Just take the fun stuff. Halloween's a fun thing. I'm okay with that. The other stuff we do, don't do that. Learn from our mistakes. Anyway, so I visited my parents. We took a road trip. The dogs came. They're such great travelers. I wish we could travel more because they travel really, really well. And they ran around on the farm. We went to the farm first and kind of hung out there for an hour and 15 minutes. The dogs ran around, got a chance to talk to my brother and my sister-in-law. And they're doing very well. My brother starts back to work on Monday. So that's great. And he's very glad about that. So things may get a little more normal for them out there. Although he did eventually get his unemployment money. It took a really, really, really long time. So, but his unemployment's ending just in time. He's got his job just in time, so that's good. So that's starting on Monday. And his quarantine project has been growing mushrooms. He's been growing mushrooms. The farm has a big outbuilding that was the winery. It's kind of a damp place now, and and it's full of stuff. Mom and Dad's stuff, and John and Jenny's stuff. It's just full of stuff. I don't think I have any stuff in there. But now it's also a mushroom growing place. He's got a tent in there, grow tent, and it is the weirdest thing. But he is growing all kinds of mushrooms, and he had some idea maybe he would have a stand at the farmer's market. But he ended up not quite at the level of production that you would need to for that. But he does have a customer at one of the fancy restaurants in State College that is open and apparently cooking food because he grows this particularly fancy mushroom, which I don't remember the name of. They grow big and whatever. For this restaurant chef, and he's making his third delivery of mushrooms to this guy on the weekend. So, but it was a very cool operation to look at. He did all kinds of research about the different kinds of medium that you have to give the mushrooms and how to do it. It was very cool. It was very cool. And he gave us a bag of mushrooms, which is also very cool. So that was fun to see, and we hadn't seen that before because, when I went with my other brother, to visit the parents, we didn't stop at the farm. We had gone for my dad's birthday in August, and we didn't stop at the farm. So I hadn't been to the farm since March. And it was good to see them. And the dogs ran around, and that was great. We had a good time. And then we went, and my dad had given me his car a year ago, and we had left our old car on the farm, and John has use of it for it. He's had use of it for the last year, and he has use for it now. So we just, turned the title over to him, but we all have to be there at the notary in the place to do that. And so Dennis, that's why Dennis came, just so we could process the car, because we thought October was an important time for that car. Like, that's when the registration was up and the inspection. But it turned out the registration for this car was up last year in October, and we never renewed it. So poor Jenny's been driving on an illegal car for a year. Luckily, I guess she's a good enough driver and never got pulled over. So we just discovered this when, John was pulling out the paperwork in anticipation of us coming. I said, well, just don't drive the car. This was like, what was that, Wednesday? Like Monday. I'm like, don't drive the car tomorrow, and don't register it, because when we turn it over to you, you're going to register it. So we can all take care of all that when we get to the title place. But of course, nothing goes easy, and so going to the title place wasn't easy either, because it turns out I didn't even realize, but we handed them the title to the car. Now, this is a 19-year-old piece of paper, because we retitled the car in Pennsylvania when we moved here. So the paper's 19 years old. Well, apparently at one point where it folded, it ripped, and we taped it. We have no memory of doing that, but it was taped. She's like, I don't know if they're going to take this, because this is defaced. It has to be pristine and not defaced. She said, but we'll put it through, and if they with a note, and if they take it, great. If they don't take it, then you'll have to send for a replacement title before we can transfer the title. So I'm not sure if they were being nice or they just didn't want to lose the business, and they were being nice. So we went through the whole process, but it was a little bit of a comedy of errors. John has his old address on his driver's license, but he still owns that property, but it's rented out now, and so like he's going to have to talk to the tenant and say, let me know when this comes, because it's for me, and they won't forward it. So I wonder if they send it to that house and there is a mail forwarding request, if they'll just send it back to motor vehicles. I don't even know. Whatever. We did what we can do, and we may get a thing back in 6 weeks saying the title was rejected and you have to do it again. So then we'll have to request a replacement title and then go back and visit again. I hope so. We did that, and then Dennis and the dogs and I went straight to Harmony and had a very nice visit with my parents. My mom's flowers did arrive. They were on her table in the dining room. And she loved them, so that was good. And we had a very nice visit. And Dennis hadn't seen him since Christmas, so that was good. Because he hadn't gone. I mean, I'd been there a couple of times I was there the last day that they shut down and couldn't have any more visitors in March, so. But Dennis hadn't seen him since Christmas, so it was a very nice visit. I did take some footage. Neither Dennis nor I slept well Tuesday night. It was one of those I was awake all nights, so we were like really dreading the drive and stuff like that. So I'm fine with those days in the morning because I drink coffee. The coffee helps. So I drove, and Dennis was sleeping in the car. He can sleep in the car. at the drop of a hat. So he was sleeping in the car, and I just thought he just needed the sleep, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to do much driving on the way home. So I drove the whole way down, and I've driven that drive by myself many, many times, so it was no big deal. So I couldn't take any video while I was driving because I don't have a setup on my camera like Leslie does, but it's a 3-hour drive, you know, whatever. Anyway, and it was cloudy and rainy and miserable going down, and I thought, well, it's supposed to clear up, so maybe it'll be better. So after our visit with my parents, headed back, and I drove the first third of the way, and then we pulled off because Maisie was a little fussy in the car, and we thought maybe she had to pee. And so we pulled off to let the dogs, if they needed to go. And then Dennis drove the rest of the way. And so I was able to take some video while he was driving, but it was still gray and dreary, and the leaves were not at their best and whatever. So, but I promised you footage. I got footage, not much. I'm going to put it at the end. The first river you see is the Juniata River. You only see it a little bit through the trees, and then the second river you see is the Susquehanna, and the Susquehanna is a wide, very shallow river at Harrisburg. So those shots of the Susquehanna are a few miles north of Harrisburg, which is the capital of Pennsylvania, in the south central part of Pennsylvania. So I'll put that footage at the end. One weird thing that happened is when I pulled off, the way the off-ramp went, I was at such an angle that I had to look over my shoulder to see if cars were coming. And I even said to Dennis, oh, good thing my crook is feeling better because, you know, this wouldn't be happening otherwise. But as soon as we got back on the highway, I got a huge pain up my neck and all around, like in a circle around my head. And I'm like, wow, this is weird. And I still kind of have that. So my crook has migrated. This podcast could end up being me talking about all my problems. My knees, my sleeping, now my crook, my eczema. I had to wear a glove on my one hand because my eczema was so bad. It's starting to heal a little bit. But I ended up finding an electric hot pad for my crook last night so I could try to work on it. And Dennis thinks a cowl around my neck will help it, so I might be putting a cowl on. Oh, before I forget, here's my earrings. I love, you know, I guess these are like boho style or something, you know, so it's got layers. I have quite a few of these kind of idea. I'll be interested to find out, to see when I run out of earrings you haven't seen. I don't remember where I got these. There's all kinds of mysteries ahead of us. And then the question is, which earrings, when I know I'm starting to repeat earrings, which ones will be the first ones I pick? I wore my Malin yesterday because it was going to be rainy and chilly, and we were outside for both the visit with my brother and the visit with my parents. And I wore those little tiny discs of ladies' faces, 3 little ladies' faces. That's what I wore yesterday, so that was interesting. I was like, what earrings? I can wear any earrings because it doesn't matter if I've worn them before or not. Nobody will see them. Nobody will know. And those are the ones I picked. So I thought that was interesting. The ones by Lorelei Erdo. So, who knows? Anyway, all right. Oh my gosh. I've been talking so long. I'm sorry. So, I am going to... Today's kind of a quiet day. I slept really well last night, and I'm so glad. The last 3 physical therapy sessions I've had on Thursday, I have not. I have been very low energy because I haven't slept well. So I went to bed early last night. I was in bed by 10:30. I had the hot pad on for a little while. And then I slept, you know, like a normal till 9:30 in the morning. And I slept pretty much the whole time. So I'm feeling good about that. So that's good because I'm tired of being so draggy in my physical therapy. So there you go. My knees are fine. There's the updates on all my issues. I hope we have a break in the rain, because Pearl does not like to go outside in the rain. And so she has to hold it for a really long time and doesn't always manage. So we need a break in the rain. Although Dennis thought maybe we have a soft cone of shame that we had for whenever. And we might put it on her and drag her out for a walk. Because he thinks that, you know, the thing that bugs her is that water gets in her ears. And that would save her ears. So we don't know. We shall see. Hey girls, you want to have a quick hello? There's Maisie and there's Pearl. They're here with me. Are you here with me? Yes, you are. All right. So I've been talking way too long. So I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow and tell you how much mud I got on my carpeting and whatever else you want, you know, whatever else the news is. So see you tomorrow. Stay safe and stay sane. Of Liberty. Ooh, it's got a flag on her. And back when, and over here, I'm trying to get it to, I think I missed it, is the longest stone arch bridge in the world. Behind all those trees. I don't think you're going to be able to see it. You could have a little bit of a view of it. And now it's gone. I'm trying to get a little bit of a view of that bridge. If I can. There it is.